people are making so much money off of our sicknesses, off of our diseases and, syndromes and our just deficiencies in general.
I mean, I've traveled a lot, and it's only in this country that when you walk into a market, it's just like supplements everywhere.
People are like, how do I take this? Like, do I take it internally? Do I put it on my body? And we're like, well, actually, you can do both.
I go to Sprouts, and there was a lady there. I was like, look, I'm looking for sea moss. And she's like, I would not get sea moss just anywhere. I would be very mindful because there's a lot of fake ones apparently.
The great thing about sea moss is it steps in and it really helps to add back those minerals that we're lacking. And that's why people feel so great, even just within days of taking it.
Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to connect with you all today. Today's episode is very special because it's something that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about, and today I got a chance to share. Today's guest was Sita from Organically Kismet. What is this? We're talking about sea moss. I'm a personal fan of sea moss, and she was here today, explained all about sea moss, all the vitamins, minerals in it, the benefits of it. Sea moss has been found to help so many people struggling with autoimmune diseases and more. I wanted to bring this episode because I find it helpful. You guys wanted to hear about it since I've been raving about it. Overall, we talked so much about where it comes from, how it's made, how her company nurtures sea moss, where it's sold exactly. So it was a very nurturing experience to sit in front of Sita, a woman entrepreneur, and talk about her small business and how she got started, how sea moss has helped her heal. Now, one thing I wanted to clarify that when we are talking about any supplements or any foods, it's never that we are recommending for anyone to take it. We are speaking out of personal experiences. And so this was my personal experience and her experience as a creator, as an entrepreneur, and I as a consumer of sea moss. If you are thinking about taking sea moss, definitely do your own research and make sure you consult with a professional before consuming. Again, this was just a personal experience, and I found it incredibly helpful. And so I wanted to bring on Sita so that she can share her experiences and her knowledge of how sea moss has helped so many people. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and definitely enjoy this episode with Sita from Organically Kismet. Hi, Sita.
Hello.
It's so nice to connect with you and see you in person.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm
Of
so
course.
excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I was actually have been very excited to have this conversation with you because I've tried your product and I find it very wonderful. And I'm like really, really excited to dive into what this is, what it does, how you discovered this. I think that it's really meaningful.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the audience to hear all about this. We're talking about sea moss, you guys.
Woo!
Very excited. So
exciting.
tell us about yourself a little bit.
So my name is Cita, and I am native to Colorado. I actually moved to LA about 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I actually did hair for 12 years. But I always had a passion for holistic healing. I was raised in a very holistic household, which really nurtured my ability to be where I am today. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm a mother, so I have 3 children, 3
What a
babies,
blessing.
one of which is also my partner in the business, my daughter. So that's also very, fulfilling, and it comes full circle.
I bet.
I originally, before I started my brand, I got my certification to become a health coach through IIN. That was my intention, was to really, help the collective heal and elevate themselves through, coaching. health coaching. And then this kind of just fell in my lap and it snowballed. And yeah, we're here today with a very flourishing, brand with a superfood that is still pretty new to the market. But yeah, it's starting to get its shine out there, which is amazing to see.
That's beautiful. Tell me about how was it growing up in a household that solely believed in holistic healing?
So it was interesting because my mom was actually the one who really nurtured that. My dad, on the other hand, was all about Western medicine.
Really?
But my mom, she being the one that really like took care of us when it came down to us like being sick and stuff. We would always go and see holistic practitioners, and it was different because, I had friends that were going to the doctor and taking, prescriptions for certain things, and I was taking the herbs and, drinking all the teas. So it was different, and at the time, as being a kid, you want to fit in and you want to be like all your friends. So I just remember, always asking my mom about that. And, she always told me, there was never there's not no neither one of them were wrong. It's
Mhm.
always, what's right for the person, and this was what was right for us. And it was very comforting to know
Yeah,
that too,
absolutely.
so.
So tell us a little about how you got into CMOS. Like, how did this just fall in your lap and you're like, this is what I'm going to
So,
do? And tell
so
me a
very
little bit.
interesting story. My kid's father actually had brought it to my attention, and I have celiac disease, which is basically adverse reaction that I get from gluten,
Hmm.
which can be found in breads,
Hmm.
sauces. It's literally everywhere,
Everything. Yeah.
even in cosmetics. I have to be very careful with that as well. So I had been dealing with that for years. Even though I had cut gluten completely out of my diet, I was still suffering with a lot of bloat and just digestive issues. And he had found and heard about CMOS helping with that, and then also helping to regulate hormones, which at the time my daughter was also kind of going through, you know, um, her own little thing having to do with her menses. And so he was like, you guys need to try this. And at the time, I was just so focused on my certification and growing that side of my business. I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, I'll look at it when I have time.
Yeah.
And then I actually had two clients of mine um, come and bring this question to me too, like, hey, have you heard of CMOS? and
Hmm.
and it coming from two separate people, I was like, okay, hold on, like there's something here. And this was during the pandemic, which it actually gained a lot of popularity during the pandemic because it was great with expelling excess mucus. um so people were looking for all the remedies,
Hmm.
and yeah, CMOS just kind of became really popular at that time. So yeah, I had my two clients come to me, and at that point I was like, okay, like hold on, let me there must be something here. So I actually ordered some from another company at the time, and I got it. I batched it up myself, took
You made
it.
it
I made
yourself?
it myself. I got the raw, and I created my own version of the gel.
Uh huh.
Um, and yeah, it helped my gut. Within days, I just felt so much relief, and just me experiencing that, I was like, wow, because I
Hmm.
tried everything and nothing would work. Um, so I started making it for friends and family,
Really?
and then my family started sharing it with their friends, and I started to see so many different benefits that people were, experiencing from the gel. And it varied from, diabetes to weight loss to energy production to,
Skin and all of that.
skin and digestive. And so it really was hitting every aspect, that there was. And at that point, I was like, okay, I have to bring this to the market because at that time, you could really only find it online, and
Yes.
I had tried to go into several different health food stores, and I couldn't find them.
Hmm.
And actually, I did find one at the time. There was one at Erewhon, um, but that was the only place, and it was a gold sea moss. And that is kind of the main difference between our brand and a lot of these other brands out there is the type of actual sea moss that we
And
use.
can you tell us about that type?
Sure. So we use a full spectrum sea moss, which has a variety of colors. You're going to find purples, greens, blues, yellows. And basically, a lot of the other brands you're seeing out there right now in the market are using gold. Um, all the sea moss, whether it's gold or full spectrum, starts off as full spectrum.
Hmm.
Where it really is separated is during the drying process. So with gold, how it becomes gold is it's dried out in the sun, which essentially the sun begins to bleach all the color out of it. And that's how you're left with the gold moss. With full spectrum, they intentionally dry it in shade rooms. And this allows the sea moss to really keep all the added antioxidants. And it has a little bit of slight of a higher mineral content as well.
Hmm.
So you're getting, added chlorophyll, anthocyanins. So that's what you find in blueberries, red cabbage,
Hmm.
purple cabbage, and then the beta carotene.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Where is sea moss found?
So
Educate
so
us a little bit.
CMOS,
Yes,
CMOS, a little history on CMOS.
please.
So CMOS can be found, on the shores, the coastlines from the North Atlantic all the way down to the Caribbean.
Hmm.
It it's in the ocean, it comes from the ocean. The term Irish sea moss
Yes,
actually
I've heard of
came
that.
during the 1800s when the Irish were going through the potato famine. They actually came and used sea moss to help people from starving because they were going
Wow.
through this famine and they had this amazing sea vegetable that they used to actually help people pull through this difficult time back then,
Of
and
starvation.
of starvation, and that is how it got the term Irish sea moss. And
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
I actually, just to kind of comment on that, I noticed that when I am hungry,
Mhm.
just a teaspoon, it keeps me so fulfilled.
Yeah,
And it's really interesting that I immediately went to, oh my God, if they were starving and they were eating this, yeah, absolutely. It does keep you fulfilled and full for
it
hours.
does.
It's like a superfood.
Yeah,
So,
it
what's
really
in
is.
this
So
gorgeous
it so
sea moss?
sea moss. Oh, so we have 8 different blends that we carry, but essentially in our original, it's just sea moss and reverse osmosis water. So you're just literally getting the algae
Hmm.
and the water, and that is it. So, but what makes it so fascinating and just so great for every single body is that it really, to me, I feel like it acts as an adaptogenic, meaning it
Hmm.
really goes in and helps and aids that individual where they're needing it. So if you have somebody that is struggling, with their thyroid, it's going to go right in and help with
That's
their
me.
thyroid.
That's me.
And if you have somebody that's, struggling with digestive issues, that's where it's going to go. And it's really going to nurture that and help
Wow.
to, you make your body, um, just feel good. Some people struggle with energy production.
Hmm.
It goes in and helps with that. So it really just
Yes.
depends on the individual. And that's why I really, really fell in love with sea moss because it truly is a superfood and it's a new and up and coming superfood, which is so
Yes.
exciting to see it start, at the bottom and just like work its way back into the light. So,
It really is because um now, before I dive into this, what I wanted to talk about is that our body needs 102 minerals, correct? To
correct.
be able to function. CMOS has 95 of them.
So, okay, so yes, that's been the huge. So you hear everybody saying that,
Yeah.
CMOS has 95, or I think it's 92 of the 102 that your body
Yes.
needs.
Yes.
And in the beginning, I was also saying that, but I like to reframe that
Please.
because realistically, um, because it is a sort of a plant. It's not a plant, which is another thing we can talk about because I think
Yes,
there's a lot of
please.
confusion around that too.
Mhm.
But it is a live, living vegetable. It's going to contain different amounts of minerals every single
Oh,
time. Not one, not two, any two jars are the same,
got
as
it.
far
So
as
it's not
mineral count
specific,
goes.
like, oh, there's this
Exactly.
much iodine. It just
Exactly.
varies what the
Yes.
plant takes.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
Okay.
reframe that and I love to say now that it has over 90% of, the vitamins and minerals that your body needs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm another thing with my company, I'm all about transparency, which to me is huge as a
Yeah.
consumer myself of other supplements. I love when I find companies that are transparent, companies that are doing their due diligence and getting third party testing and being transparent with their consumer and as far as what they're actually getting out of their product. So
Mm-hmm.
I stopped saying that for that reason because I'm like,
Yeah.
I actually can't prove this. So what I
Yeah.
can prove is that it does have over 90% of what we're looking for. Um, and to kind of go into that, some of the stars of the show would be zinc, which is great for immunity. It's great for skin health as well. We have potassium, magnesium. I would say that I was shocked by this because you hear a lot about CMOS and iodine, it being high in iodine, which is why it's also great
For
for the
thyroid,
thyroid.
yes.
But I actually, through several of our tests, I was like, I constantly was seeing calcium like
Mm-hmm.
just shining. And I was like, wow, this has so much calcium in it. So it's great for your teeth, your bones. It's so incredible all the way around.
It is incredible. I mean, also there's this other factor that it's about experience too. Like it's about experiencing it
Right.
and seeing what it really does. And it's genuinely helped me so much. So, you guys, just a backstory. The reason, well, how I found Sita is I went to a market, purchased it, and I was like, this stuff is amazing. This is phenomenal. Like, and this is my personal experience. Obviously, we're not telling people stop your medications,
Right.
take it, like, not at all whatsoever.
No,
You guys need to be able to do your research, see if it's right for you.
absolutely.
Speaking from my personal experience, I stopped my thyroid medication, levothor oxide, and I was like, I'm going to stop because I know
Wow.
it's going to literally hit my liver. I was taking it while I was pregnant too. And then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease.
Mm,
It was just like constantly feeling so tired,
right.
just tired, like lack of energy, was so much going on in my body, like mood swings.
Hmm.
I'm like, let me just try this. So like I was researching and I've found out so many phenomenal things, but it's not everywhere.
Mm-mm.
And so I go to Sprouts and there was a lady there. I was like, look, I'm looking for CMOS. And she's like, I would not get CMOS just anywhere. I
Yeah.
would be very mindful because there's a lot of fake ones apparently,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, where can I get it? And they mentioned this market. And I was like, okay. I just reached out to you, I think, just
Yeah.
naturally. I was like, I'm just going to reach out to her. And then you answered. And so grateful. But
Amazing.
I'll tell you this, I was so heartbroken that I had to be on medicine for like a long time because of my Hashimoto's.
Right.
I don't know how, but this thing is like God's work. I promise you, I feel so much better. Just a teaspoon every day in the morning on an empty stomach. Like it literally has changed my life. Like how good my body feels.
And
You're doing like such God's work. I don't know
thank you.
if you
And
receive that
your
type of
these stories never get old. And honestly, this is
really.
like outside of anything else, this is what I do it for. Is
Yeah.
I love hearing this because it truly is so incredible and it helps so many people. And
Yes.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
hearing that. Thank you for
Absolutely.
that.
It's helped me a lot. So, um, do you feel comfortable to talk about maybe some of the minerals in here?
Yeah,
Like other
sure.
than like what stands out? What makes CMOS so amazing?
So I think, well, we can kind of back up and go into why there are so many sick people out there. We
Please.
are, for one, mineral deficient, like no
Very,
other. We're just not
very.
getting it from our foods anymore. no matter how clean you eat, no matter how organic you eat, it's just not in the soil anymore,
Yeah.
which is very unfortunate. And this is what makes sea moss so great as, not only is it a great supplementation to our diets, but it's in whole food form, and people are like, okay, what does that mean? So basically, when it comes down to your body absorbing all the minerals within it, because it's literally like eating your food,
Mm-hmm.
your body is going to be able to absorb all of that, all the goodness. When you're taking supplements, that are processed in labs, it's a little more difficult for our bodies to identify it, and absorb it fully. So that's really what stands out about our product. And, I've not only that, but just it's so clean. Our product is so, so clean. There's no fillers, there's no preservatives, there's no artificial colors. We do get the question a lot because our colors are so vibrant and there's so
Yes.
many different ones. It all comes from food, all comes from herbs. Nothing synthetic about it. Um, but so yeah, so the great thing about sea moss is it steps in and it really helps to add back those minerals that we're lacking. And that's why people feel so great,
Mm-hmm.
even just within days of taking it. It's
Mm-hmm.
because it's really adding in something that is so essential to us being who we are and just our health and being able to wake up every morning and just, live our lives.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say there isn't necessarily any one mineral that's better than the other. I think they're all needed. Um, but I will definitely say that calcium is one of the stars within this, as well as zinc. It's great for immunity.
Yes.
Calcium is great for the bones, your teeth. We have magnesium. It's great for your muscles, your nerves.
It's like a
Phosphorus.
multivitamin.
It truly is. And it also has some vitamins in there as well. It has beta carotene, which turns into vitamin A.
Wow.
It has vitamin C. There's iron that's in there, which is great for your blood.
Is this safe for children?
It is. It is. Smaller doses, of course. But yes, it is. And like I said again, that what's great about our CMOS is it's in food form. So it's literally, it's it's becoming, or what I like to see it doing is just becoming a staple in everybody's, everyday life. Just like we wake up and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we're
Yes.
having our CMOS as well because it is that
Yeah,
crucial,
I've actually
especially
seen.
at a time like now.
Absolutely. And sorry to cut you off,
No, no
actually,
worries.
but I've seen people make like ice cream.
Mhm.
They top it on ice cream, desserts. It's
Yeah.
just
So you
fascinating.
can cook with it. I
Really.
think when it comes down to the sea moss, because it is so new still, people are like, "How do I take this? Like, do I take it internally? Do I put it on my body?" And we're like, "Well,
I
actually, you
know
can do
people have a
both."
hard time consuming it because of the gel format. I've had friends that
Yes.
I've gotten, they bought it and they're like, how do you do this every day?
Yeah,
So,
so, I think more than the taste, it's the
the
texture.
texture, yes.
And myself, even me, like I have a hard time because of the texture. So we always like to educate our customers.
Hmm.
Mix it into smoothies, juices, teas, even your water. You can add it. I love to do a dollop of our piece, which has it's like a citrus mint flavor to it. It goes great in water. I just add it to my water in the morning and sip on that, and I know I'm getting my minerals.
Wow.
But yeah, there's so many different ways you can take it. I will just say that if you do, cook with it or you add it to a tea or coffee, that you don't do it when it's scalding or boiling because
Please,
because
yes.
it is live and raw. It will start to kind of dwindle the nutrients within it, just like vegetables. The more you cook vegetables, the less of the
Hmm.
nutrients you're actually going to receive from it. But
Would you say it's better to add a teaspoon of it after, like you're making your soups and stuff, so that
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, usually if it's like simmering or you've turned it off all the way, then you can add it, towards the end, but you don't want to cook it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How long has CMOS been around?
Oh
You know,
gosh.
because I know Dr.
For
Sebi is it.
Mhm.
He was talking about it, and then Lisa Lisa Left Eye Lopez, I
Oh,
think was her
yes,
name.
yes, yes.
She had
Mhm.
lupus and she swore by this. Like there's
Yes.
interviews of
Mhm.
her saying how this has just like helped her lupus so much, and
Right.
she's only eating sea
Yeah,
moss.
I have several customers that have written us, that have had lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, and they swear by our. We have two blends that I keep seeing that are very common with those
Hmm.
autoimmune disorders, and it's our Blue Magic and our Pure Gold. So our Pure Gold is our anti-inflammatory blend. It has ginger turmeric added in there.
Yes, that's the
And
one I take.
yeah, it's
I love
amazing and
that
it
one.
tastes really, really, really good. That one and then the Blue Magic has spirulina in it.
Hmm.
So those two, I hear that nonstop when it comes to lupus and rheumatoid
That's
arthritis. It's
amazing.
incredible.
Why do you think that this is not blowing up? What's going on here?
A whole lot of censoring,
Yeah,
and it's very
censored.
hard.
Hmm.
Just like, it's censoring as far as it's not getting shared or put out there, when it comes to, like, let's say, social media, right? There's only so much that's actually being shared, I feel like, and then a lot more of it is kind of being hidden or put on the back burner. So basically exposure, it comes down to exposure. It's just not getting,
Mm.
it's exposure. Um, it can make it a little more difficult, but I find I still think that there's hope, for this. And it's great. We're actually this year we are starting an affiliate program through our company, which I feel like is going to do wonders for bringing this to the masses as well. And also allowing people that are all over the country to purchase this because right now we're local to LA, and we're in probably over about 40 supermarkets out here, extending from Santa Barbara all the way down to San Diego. But I also want people that are not in LA to be able to experience this. So we also
Hmm.
ship nationwide, which is
Yes.
great. So no matter where you are, you can experience this goodness.
How this has changed people. Like how has that affected you as a person, as a human being?
It's so much more fulfilling than I ever thought it would be, to be honest. I wanted to get into the health coaching world because I wanted to make a difference and help people.
Why was that?
I think just because of what I had experienced, as far as dealing with my celiac. When you have an autoimmune disorder, or even just when you're going through it when it comes to your health, it can be very isolating and it can feel, like you're the only one. It's just it can be very daunting, scary, like there's no, end to it. And I really wanted to change people's perspective of that and, help people really see that, all of us, like we all go through something at some point, and just really helping people get through it and get to the other side a little easier, is really, really important to me. And you know, being able to bring a product to market that is also doing this is just, it makes me so happy. And I just couldn't be more fulfilled for that. Yeah.
Do you feel like this was your calling?
I truly do. I
Tell me
truly,
about
truly
that.
do. I think because I had tried so many different things. I did hair for 12 years. When I moved to LA, I did real estate for a little while.
Wow.
I tried all the things trying to find my calling or my purpose, right? And I just felt like I was always met with so much resistance at some point or another, or just not feeling full, if that makes sense,
That makes sense.
And when it came to doing the health coaching, I started to feel that. I started to see that like spark, like, okay, like this feels good. Like I know I'm going to help make a difference in people's lives. Like this feels really, really good to me. And then when I developed my product, it really just evolved so quickly. And the way that it expanded was just so naturally. Um, that it was so natural that I was like, okay, this is it. Like this is just happening and
Hmm.
it's happening there's so much ease behind it, and that's what really makes me feel like, okay, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And don't get me wrong, during the developing of it and just getting it into supermarkets, yeah, there were challenging times, difficult times. I think any entrepreneur
Mhm.
knows that, you ride the waves,
The
you know?
beginning, it's difficult, of
It
course.
is, and, there's always some fire to be put out, but at the end of the day, it really was very smooth, and yeah, it feels so good, and I love seeing people feel good as well, so,
Yeah, I bet. It is
yeah.
very fulfilling. In the last couple of years, I've noticed such a decline in our nutrition. It's so hard. Like there's just so much disease spiking up even after COVID too. But I was reading a recent article and it had stated something about America, which was kind of shocking to me. I mean, it's not a surprise, but I was kind of offended to read it. But it said, you know, only in America you'll find right when you step into the market, there is like a huge supplement
Mhm,
section.
mhm.
Like it's nowhere, think about it. I mean, I've traveled a lot and it's only in this country that when you walk into a market, it's just like supplements everywhere.
Right.
It's not like this in Europe. It certainly isn't like this in Armenia, my country. Like
Mm-mm.
it's food.
Mhm.
What do you think is happening? Since you're a health coach, like I'm curious to know your thoughts about this. Like it was just all about supplements now. Vitamins,
Well, at the
supplements.
end of the day, I think it comes down to, and as unfortunate as it is money. People are making so much money off of our sicknesses, off of our diseases and, syndromes and our just deficiencies in general, And that's really for me where I wanted to separate myself from the rest of the supplement category. Where actually, if you look at our jars, we don't have a supplemental facts on there, and that is because we have a nutrition facts on there, and that's because again, I like for people to look at whole at CMOS as a food, not a supplement.
Wow, that's
And for that reason, because you walk down the supplement aisle, and you first off, there's just so many
there's
different
so
options,
many.
and you're like, what do I like? What is right? What is this? Okay, this has this. This has this. And a lot of the times, we as the consumers, we can't even pronounce half of the words that are
That's
in
true.
the ingredients, and that's a scary thing, and we're trusting just because certain influencers are saying this is great, take this. We're like, okay, we'll take this, and it's like,
Exactly.
have we actually done our due diligence and taken a look at that ingredient list and seen what is actually in there, and is this actually doing our body more harm than it is good? And I think a lot of it also comes down to the placebo effect. People are
Mm.
truly taking supplements and causing themselves to believe that it's actually doing something, and they're feeling better and I think that's why people do start to feel better for a short while, and then it kind of like falls off, and they're like, okay, this thing isn't working anymore, and that's because it never really has. It was just our minds are so powerful, and
Very.
just the thought alone, that this pill could do wonders will start to change our bodies, with just that thought alone. So it's like, but over time, the truth comes out, and it's just not, you'll see that it's not really doing what it was said it was to do.
True.
So that's one thing that I think, not with just our brand, but any brand, that you're taking, take a look at those ingredients, see what you're actually consuming, and be very mindful of that
Absolutely.
because
And
it
I
is
think
very important.
it is very important. I feel like also people are waking up now. They know exactly like about GMO and like
Right.
what's like sprayed on our food and
Mhm.
like all the pesticides and like what's good and what's bad. And I think people genuinely like when I posted that you're coming to the show, the amount of women, I swear I'm not kidding you. The amount of women that messaged me saying, "Oh my god, you're doing God's work. This is
Oh,
amazing."
that's so
Like
exciting.
it's it's fascinating. I'm very grateful, but also I feel sad. Like
Mhm.
people don't know what to buy anymore, what to eat, what not to. Instantly they're like, "Okay, this supplement, that supplement."
Mhm.
People are genuinely scared
They are, and at the end of the
and
day,
confused.
each of us are so different. Our bodies are so different. What I need is completely different from what your body may need. And, not one supplement is going to be able to completely come in and just like, it's almost like we're looking for that magic pill now in a natural form, essentially.
Mhm.
And it's just like we as the consumers or people that are buying these supplements just have to really look at even the amounts of what we're trying to receive is like, okay, is this an adequate amount for what I'm needing? Because you'll find that too. You'll find supplements that say, oh, this has for we could take CMOS for example. There's so many brands out there right now that are selling CMOS, and they're going and looking for ways to reinvent the wheel as far as making it, easier to travel with.
Hmm.
Or taste better. But
Mm,
ultimately, it's truly changing what the CMOS is because you go and you look at these supplements, and there's like a fraction of what you would find in the actual gel within these
I've heard.
other
I've heard.
supplements. So it's just really taking a look at the label. Like we have to do our work. We have to do our part in that way, and just really make ourselves aware of what we're buying and taking and putting into our
Absolutely.
bodies.
Is this okay to consume for the rest of your life? Since it
So
is a superfood.
yes, I would like to say yes, and people have been, in the Caribbean. This is part of their diet. This is food to them, and there's so many cultures around the world that use sea moss for different things. In China, in Greece, they take sea moss baths. Because it's very soothing to the skin and very nourishing
Wow.
through when applied topically. So that's
Yeah.
that's another cool thing is sea
It's
moss.
a mask.
Yep, you can use it as
Literally.
a mask. You can add it, use it as a hair mask as well, a face mask. I love to take it, because sea moss can be on the pricier side of things. So you're not just going to want to take a whole jar and just lather your whole body up. But I like to take it into whatever, let's say scrubs that I like to make my own scrubs. But if you have a scrub that you love, add it into your scrub, and it really enhances, what you're already loving, and you'll find so much moisture, instant moisture when you're
That's so
using it
beautiful.
topically.
I just literally I was
Yeah.
watching some of your posts and you had stated like you can put this on your skin. Enhances collagen,
Mhm.
glow, like all of that. So I'm definitely going to try.
Yeah, it's
Thank you
amazing
for this.
stuff.
Asita, can you tell us how you make it?
Sure. So, first off, I gotta shout out my team because
Yes, that's
it's
lovely.
not just me behind the CMOS. I have a whole team, a team of amazing women that go in and put so much love into this. And honestly, it's so funny because so many people are like, we've tried getting our own raw and like making it, and it's the
Yes,
exact same, like it's your brand, it's your like, but it tastes so different. Like, what are you guys doing? And I truly believe in energy
I
transfer.
do
I talk
too.
to my girls about this all the time, and when we're providing a product that is supposed to elevate or heal the individual, we want to make sure we're pouring the best intentions into every single jar. So, back to your question on how we make it, we have a very, very thorough process. We inspect the CMOS, we rinse the CMOS multiple
Where do
times.
you get them from?
I'm sorry, the sea
Uh-huh.
moss? We source our sea moss from St. Lucia, and we
Nice.
work very, very closely
Oh
with our
my good.
farmers as well, which I actually love because I have more of an insight on how it's being grown, all the process from start to finish, literally from the sea to the supermarket. I'm involved in every single
Wow.
process, which is important to me, and I think it's also important to our customers, and they really value that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have a whole process. I think what really sets us apart is our dedication to making sure that we're taking the CMOS and we're rinsing it so well. We're going through and picking out any impurities that are found within there, and then also are the infusions that we blend with the CMOS gel. We have several different herbal infusions that we use to boost the sea moss's already natural ability to function within our bodies. So, we go in. I curated every single one of these blends myself, just intuitively. What really felt good, and it just has always turned out Amazing. So, without giving up too many secrets,
Yeah, of
yeah, we
course.
go through, we rinse our sea moss, we soak it. We like to soak it for at least 15 hours.
Wow.
I feel like that really has a lot to do with how our consistency comes out. Um, yeah, and then we blend away with whether we're making our original, which is
Mhm,
just the
mhm.
water, with the sea moss, or adding our herbal infusions into it.
Why do you think, I mean, why does it require specific water?
That's a great, great question. I
Right?
love this question because for the longest time, people were saying, if your sea moss is being made with anything outside of spring water, it is don't take it, don't use it.
Mhm.
And, we were using spring water in the beginning, and it just as we grew and as the demand increased, it was becoming very difficult to source, the proper spring water that I would like to use.
Mhm.
Um, so I actually I went down this whole rabbit hole of water, and it's incredible how
Tell me. Oh my
so
goodness.
there's actually a local company that we work with in LA. They're called the Water Plant. It's an amazing facility. They have so many different types of waters there. And the owner actually, I sat down and I talked to her, and she explained to me about the different waters and, the uses of the different waters. And then just also through my research, I had found that reverse osmosis, when it comes down to changing the chemistry of the sea moss
Mhm.
or any plant in general, any plant that you're growing, whether it be in your garden or your plants at home, it's one that doesn't affect it the most. So, and just me finding that out, I was like, okay, wow, this is incredible, and which is why we lean towards reverse osmosis. It keeps the sea moss in its most purest, unchanged as far as like structure goes, and it's just you're getting sea moss for what it is exactly, there's
Mhm.
no change to it.
It's not compromised, right?
Exactly. And the spring water, a lot of people were saying the spring water for the minerals within it. Sea moss has all the minerals and more that you could ever need, so you're already getting that from the sea moss.
Reverse osmosis water.
Right.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, is that alkaline? It's
No,
different, isn't
it's
it?
different. Yeah, so basically reverse osmosis is it's they're going in and pulling everything out of it, basically. That's why when it comes down to, as far as I know, drinking reverse osmosis isn't the most beneficial because it has literally nothing in it,
Is there,
No,
is it
like
so?
electrolytes, no,
Oh
yeah,
my.
nothing.
So it's
Everything
stripped from
is,
all the
yeah,
components.
everything,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and you're just left with the water, the purest form of filtered water, if you will. But yeah, it's not alkaline.
Okay.
No.
I'm curious to know, since you are very holistic, I mean,
Yes.
since you grew up in a very holistic household and you are the head of the CMOS world currently, um, do you still, I mean, are you still holistic? Do you still,
I am.
or do you feel like,
I
it's,
am. I live the majority of my life, or I try to, in the
yeah,
holistic realm. But I do also believe in Western medicine. I believe
yeah,
that
yeah,
there is a time and place for Western
yeah, I agree.
medicine, so um I'd be lying if I said I didn't, mess with Western medicine at all. But no, I do, when very, very rare. I try to hit
Yeah,
all the natural remedies first. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for our bodies,
absolutely.
And sometimes that is taking a prescription,
That's
so
true. That's true.
mhm.
Um, are you still doing health coach?
I'm not.
No,
I'm
you
not. And
stopped.
I did. I just did not have the time for it. My plate was so full between, my business and my babies. It wasn't, I am still trying to find the balance,
Yeah,
between it
absolutely.
all. But one day I hope to um get back into that world, you know? I don't know that it would necessarily be like one-on-ones, but I would definitely like to dabble in that.
What is your advice to moms? Like, what is like a good component of like vitamins, minerals, food? I mean, is it like tell us,
I
educate us a little bit
think
about that side?
when it comes down to being a mom, you know, I think we get so consumed with our littles that we tend to forget about ourselves a lot. And whether that be just, you know, finding and doing what brings us peace or, you know, makes us happy, to even just nourishing our own bodies, you know. And I think, you know, we can't pour from an empty cup. So, I would say definitely remember to pour into yourself first, because if
Oh,
you don't, you're not going to have it to, you know, to spread to your littles and for as long as you need to, you know? So
yeah.
making sure, you know, you're eating properly, you're taking time out for you know, and it could be the simplest acts, you know, whether you like to read, some people like to work out, some people like to
Yeah.
draw, just whatever is going to fill your cup in that moment, you know, is I feel like what we need to do more of, and not feel guilty for it, because I know there was a time when I was like, "Ugh, no, like I have to like all my focus has to be on them." But then, you know, it got to a point where it was just like, wow, like how can I can't pour from this empty cup, you know?
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I continuously pour into mine as well.
That's so true.
So, and give yourself grace, you know? None of us are perfect. And no matter what social media portrays, it's
Oof.
like we all go through it as moms, you know? And not one of us is perfect, but we are perfect for our children. So,
Yeah, I think that's something
yeah.
that's very beautiful, and I've learned that in my experience too of being a mom. Like you might not feel perfect, but you're perfect for your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
We really are.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was so
Absolutely.
powerful. I absolutely love hearing you talk about CMOS and you guys organically kismet.
Yes, look
It's
for us.
look for
Eventually,
it.
we
Yeah.
will be in markets across country. That
St-
is like one of the goals that
You'll
I
get
have,
there.
and we will. We will.
Of course you will. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Sita.
you're
This was so beautiful
welcome.
and it's
Thank
an
you for
honor to meet
having
you.
me.
Absolutely. You guys get your hands on CMOS, Organically Kismet. I'll link all your
Yes,
information
awesome.
so that people
Awesome.
can have access to it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yay.